So Denis Villeneuve's Dune Part 2 has now been released to much fanfare. His first adaptation of Frank Herbert's work was a film I enjoyed and I thought was really good. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as most people, I just thought it was good. A major vibe I got from it was that the film was holding back on a lot of things, setting the stage for events to come and unloading most of the action in the second film, which in many ways seems to have been the case, story and spectacle wise. Although, funnily enough, even this second film seems to do the same thing, spending a fair amount of time doing what Marvel superhero movies do, and building hype for the next film. That's a word that came across to me a few times when I was watching the movie. Hype. The events in the film, Paul's fight back against the people who killed his father and his people, his role as the Messiah, is hyped in the first film, with it reaching a stage where he will surely lead the people in an uprising. We go a bit backwards in Dune 2, with Paul's caravan moving to a place where people are suspect about him, and he himself is unsure of who he is and what he wants, so the hype then builds again throughout the film until it reaches a stage where you're like, hell yeah, Team Paul is gonna get it on. I didn't mind it though, it was nice seeing the film take its time with building Paul up. But there's a new villain who gets hyped up a lot by characters. He doesn't do much, except the cliche killing your henchman when he displeases you move, which is something I think happened about 4 times in this film. But anyway, he dies after much hype. Bautista returns and has a rematch with Josh Brolin, another hype moment with an abrupt payoff. There's a lot of things like that. Even the duh music and the structure of the film, small quiet moments, separated by loud hype building moments. It's like it constantly wants you to be in a state of hype. And what both films have been doing is building a sense of hype. And I'm wondering what the payoff is going to be, because I thought I would have seen it by now. The scale is just getting bigger and bigger. Are you amazed at what you're seeing? Are you hyped? Did you see Paul call himself the Messiah? Were you there when he drank the thing? Did you see the part where he told that old hag to shut up in the voodoo language? Did you see the bit where he said the movie's name? Are you hyped for him going to war in the next film, even though that's what he did also in this one? I know I'm being facetious, but there is some legitimacy to my grievances here. Of course, I'm completely ignorant of the source material, but if Dune 3 involves Paul going to war against the other families, to me it feels like that would be a repeat of what we saw here. Each film is like a prequel of the next one, with a small payoff at the end of each film, albeit increasing in size with each movie. Anyway, my rambling aside, Dune 2 is a really enjoyable and exciting action sci-fi blockbuster. In many ways, it's what I expected the first film to be, and it does have a good climax, something missing from Dune Part 1. The main positives are, given the director, the story and the first film, the usual elements. The striking visuals and sound are a feast for the senses. Dune 2 is a true cinema film, gorgeous to look at. The movie's special effects never drift into the territory where everything becomes all CGI pixels and blobs. It is a really good looking movie. One particular noteworthy trait of the film is that in spite of how big the action is now, the battle crowds and size of the spaceships and whatnot, you still feel a sense of scale with the violence and the destruction, which allows for optimum immersion. And so, a huge ship falling down from the sky and crashing, or a character riding a massive sandworm like he's surfing, or nomadic sand people bringing down technological machinery through their connection with the natural world, feels appropriately epic. And whilst the film is free from the shackles the first film had, in that movie needed to set up the universe, Dune 2 is a pretty straightforward story, which drip feeds you more and more of the lore and world building as it goes. And it's a universe I enjoy being in. I suppose it's a compliment of sorts to say I would have liked to see this film as, say, a 10-part miniseries or something. It's so long, but at the same time it feels too short. In fact, on that, I have felt that these 2 Dune movies have been a bit too streamlined in terms of the plot. Complaints I've heard from book readers is that the new film chops and changes a lot from the novel to make things more concise and straightforward, like the gladiator duel scene, which apparently has a lot more going on with it in the book. It's standard book to film complaints, but I do wish there was a bit more juice to the story, or at the very least, the characters, most of whom in this film take a back seat to accommodate Paul's ascension, and almost every line of dialogue is about him and whether he is or isn't the saviour. A bit like one part where two characters are in love, but one chooses to marry someone of royalty for political purposes, something which the new wife-to-be notices, that, oh, her new husband actually loves somebody else. I like that. Actual jeopardy, conflict, good character moments, instead of characters just staring, looking cool and mumbling dialogue before the next hype scene arrives. I mean, these movies are long, and I appreciate they need to be long, but much of that length is dedicated to nice scenery shots and stuff, instead of adding subplots and characters which I think would have given the film a more filling feeling. Perhaps that's why, even though I liked it and I thought it was great to look at, something about it feels a bit empty. I just feel, and I'm seeing this sentiment echoed by book readers who are lamenting characters being cut and storylines being dumbed down, that this is a simplistic adaptation of a far richer story, which is odd when you consider we've had more than 5 hours of movie time, and there's so much you can do with that. But the film is shaped to be a blockbuster cinematic experience, and on that level, it pretty much delivers. So what did you think of Dune Part 2? Let me know in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.